it in half twice. I told y'all we do that a lot in the beginning. Did I not give you paper? Okay, I'm coming. Get your name somewhere at the top. You don't have to put yours in the center. I just like to. All right, so let's start with our pencil. In box 1, we're going to sketch 2 circles. Remember, short little lines, light pressure, lines are overlapping, and I'm making changes as I go. All right, so I've got 2 circles. Under that, I'm going to put a rectangle, so it's going to look kind of like a face. All right, let's start with the first color. It's up to you which one you want to do. We're in circle 1. This is what not to do when coloring, okay? Basically, leaving white gaps, changing direction, making it really messy, changing pressure where it doesn't make sense. Yes, all these terrible, terrible things they're going to copy. So changing direction, changing pressure where it doesn't make sense, leaving white gaps and going outside the lines. These are things we're going to try to avoid. Okay. In circle 2, we're going to use the same pressure, and I'm going to go in one direction and stay inside the lines. When I'm coloring, you don't have to do this. I do almost like rounded lines. Like if you separate it, it looks kind of like a spiral. Because I feel like that takes away from the from seeing every single line that you color. Like it just looks a little bit better. All right, so medium pressure throughout, trying to go in the same direction as much as you can, and filling in your shape to get rid of any white spaces. All right, so in this box, we're talking about value. Ooh, I almost spelled it wrong. And that's an L. Looks kind of weird. All right, where do we normally hear the word value? What? Math, science, what else do we hear it when we think of value? Money, okay? We think of money, we think of value. So how much something is worth. So value in art is kind of the same way if you think about like, but how much the color is worth. So if it's worth 0, this color is worth 0, what do you think that's going to look like? Nothing, which is going to be what color? White, okay? If it's full color, full value is 10, what do you think it's going to look like? If I was doing grayscale, if I was using my pencil, it would be black. So it would go from black, kind of fade through all the shades of gray, and it fades to white. Okay, so value, you think of it a lot when you use shading, but it's the lightness and darkness of one color. So it doesn't always have to be gray, but you will see that as an example a lot. Like I've got it on my wall. Well, behind my head, y'all can't really see it. But and then on that color wheel over there, the little paint chips, you'll see the outside's darker, and then they fade to light. All right. So you start on whichever side you think it's going to be easier. I like to start on the darker side and fade to light. But if you think it's easier to start light and get darker and darker and darker, that's up to you. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and if your 10 is on the other side, your 0, that's fine too. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. As long as you understand the concept, that's really all I care about. Some people also like to write a 5 in the middle. So when you get to that middle part, you should be at medium pressure. And that kind of helps make sure you don't run out of space by the time you get to your 0, and it should be at white. If you get to the end of your rectangle and you run out of room and you're still not at white, just make your rectangle longer and keep going. Okay, box 2, get your pencil ready. All right, and I'm going to be going one shape at a time, but we are going to have 3 different shapes in there, so leave space. All right, so at the very top, I'm going to draw a cube, but don't do it where you can see through it. Okay, if you don't know what I mean, just wait. All right, so I'm sketching a square. Okay, what some people do is they draw another square and connect them, but I don't want to be able to see through it. Okay, so I'm going to go from these 3 angles and draw lines that are going up and out to the right. There should be parallel, which what do parallel lines mean? They're doing the same thing, so they're running next to each other. So all of these lines are all doing the same thing, and they're all about the same length. This one's a little crooked. All right, and then I'm going to connect them in the back, basically with an upside down L, okay? But I need this one to be horizontal, parallel to this one. And then I need this one to be vertical, parallel to this side. So like I said, it's an upside down L. All right, you don't have to do this part. I'm going to draw it just so you know. So my light source is going to be coming from this direction. So here's my sun, and it's hitting the box like this. All right, so pick a color. Yeah. What color is this? All right, blue. All right, so I drew the cube. I drew my sun saying this is where my light source is coming from, but you didn't have to do that. All right, so this is the top, this is the front, this is the side. Where do you think it's going to be the lightest on my cube? Derek? The top, because my sun is hitting it here. This other side that I can't see, that would be light too, but I can't see it, so I don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to take whatever color I'm doing, think about your value bar, think about this light section here, and you're going to keep it kind of in that area. I'm going to color this top part lightly. Whatever color you're using. So if you're using yellow, you'd color it light yellow. All right, and I've got front and side left. Which side do you think is going to be the medium shade? Okay, the front. Good. So this is going to be middle. So again, think about your value bar. Okay, your medium pressure. You're going to fill in that whole front side with a medium amount of color. All right, so what's going to be my dark side? Okay, this side is going to be dark. Do we know why that's the darkest side? Very good. The sun is not hitting this side. It's blocking it. So that's going to be the darkest side. All right, and then for the next part, you're going to want black, and you're going to want to keep your black out, or you can use your pencil, but I'm going to use black. All right, so what I'm going to do next, still working with this shape, is the cast shadow. The shadow, a cast shadow is what is being like cast behind it. So you can see my hand is here, okay? The light is coming from over here, where y'all are in the back of the room, okay? Light's coming from over there. The light is hitting my hand on this side. It's being blocked on this side, and then I have this shadow being cast by my hand. Does that make sense? Okay, so if my light is on the left side, what side is my cast shadow going to be on? Very good, it's on the right. So I'm taking my black or my pencil, coloring that in. So under here, now I'm going to do, it's going to be a sphere, but I'm starting with a circle. So I'm sketching out a circle. We've done this plenty of times now. All right, so with the sphere, you're going to think about your value bar again, but instead of these straight lines, you're going to think of them as round lines because it's a circle. So like here, this is my lip balm, but it kind of gives you a good idea of what it's going to look like. The lightest part is really close to the edge where the light source is coming from, but just not quite all the way. There's different ways to shade in a sphere. I'm just going to show you the way that I think is the easiest to explain. All right, so I'm going to say my sun's on the opposite side this time. So here's my sun. It's coming this way. All right. So I'm going to say the lightest part is going to be about where my finger's pointing. So I'm going to leave like a little white circle. Okay. So I'm basically doing a value bar in a circle form, I guess. So now I'm going darker and darker. Okay. And then once it gets to this point, pretty much I don't need to go the other side. I'll just start doing rounded lines, like a crescent moon shape, I guess, throughout the other side. And we're going to do the cast shadow. Which side is it going to be on? The side not facing the sun, which is the left. It's the left side. All right, so we go right. This is left. Yes. Oh, okay. Don't mess me up. I was like, oh my gosh, I got it mixed up. All right, so left side, kind of shading in a rounded shape for my cast shadow. And then go back to your pencil, and we're going to do the last shape in this box. Last shape, we're going to do a cone, but again, you don't see through it, okay? Not like in math where you can see like the whole bottom of the circle, so you can see the radius and all that. We're not doing that. All right, so I'm going to draw triangular top with a rounded bottom. So that's all I need to see. I don't need to see the inside of it. Yeah, it's like an upside down or like a snow cone thing. Ice cream cones have like the waffle pattern in it. I'm going to put my sun back on the left side. All right, pick a color. All right, so with this one, kind of similar to the sphere, but our shape changes a little bit. So light on this side, lightest near the top left. And then the closer you get to the bottom right, the darker it's going to get. And my cast shadow will be on the opposite side of the sun. So it will be kind of a triangular shape on the right side. Let's go to box 3. Box 3. You don't have to turn yours. I'm just turning mine so it fits under the thing better. All right. In box 3, we're going to sketch a cupcake. Got angled line. I'm going a little bit quicker because we're running low on time. All right, angled line, and then a somewhat curved line at the bottom. It's going to be the base. And then for the frosting, I'm not going to lie, it does look a little bit like the poop emoji. But when you color it, it's much more dessert-like. All right, so I'm going to start with a curved line, kind of like the bottom, but it goes outside the edges a little bit. All right, and now I'm actually going to show you 2 different ways to do the top, and then you pick. So think about it. Look at both ways first before you decide. All right, so I still want to put something else down here. All right, so option 1, would be basically to draw these kind of almost like jelly bean shapes, slightly jelly bean. So I've got a little one because it's curved. And then another one. And then I'm running out of space. All right. And then another one, but this one's going to have a little curve on top. Okay. So those are just 3 layers. Or you can have where it has the C shape. And then this C shape has to come up a little bit higher. This C shape comes up a little bit higher. Comes up a little bit higher. And then the last one. Okay. So you could have the 3 different layers or the one they're kind of one. As long as it's this style. Because there are different frosting ways, but I want it. Then that's fine. All right. And then pick a color. Let's start with the bottom. All right. So the bottom of a cupcake wrapper, what does it have? It has like lines. It has those little pleats in it, which are all those little tiny folds. So we're going to need black and then whatever color you want the base of your cupcake. I'm going to go with this color. All right, so we're going to have light and dark shades, but honestly, the easiest way to start this is to lightly color the whole base. Light. This is going to be your lightest shade, but just so it's done, and you don't have to do so many like stripes on it. Okay? All right. Oh, and just so you know, my light is coming from up here. All right, so since my light is over there, I can actually make this left side, go ahead and make it just a little bit darker and fade it. So kind of like a value bar, but doesn't go all the way to white. Okay, y'all with me so far? I know I'm going kind of fast. So I made that left side just a little bit darker. And I'm also going to make underneath a little bit darker. Why am I darkening this part? Good. It's a dark spot because that frosting is covering part of that wrapper from the light. Very good. All right. So keeping with this same color, I'm going to start adding little lines that come down it. You can just do straight lines if you want to make it even better. Try to make them a little bit thicker at the top because the pleats would open up a little bit because the cupcake gets wider up there. And then also if you can change the direction of it. So see how like they're leaning to the left and then when they get to the right side, they're going to slightly lean to the right. Or if you just want to do the lines, that's fine. Okay. All right, pick a color for your top. I know I'm going fast. All right. So whichever one you're going to do, listen, whichever one you're going to do, you're going to have darker edges and then fade it to light on the right side, but also in the center, okay, because it's coming towards you a little bit. So you want to kind of give that illusion as well. So I still have color, but it did get lighter in those little middle areas. Okay, if you did this one, same thing. Darker around the edges. And then fade it to light. Okay, I want to finish that one. you finish early, you could always add sprinkles. Just be little lines. All right, and then that'll be it for today.